fairly late, 11:43, and tonight is going to be a short stream. Usually, we've done a pretty good job about avoiding starting new courses when we don't have a lot of time, but 111 days in and 14 courses deep, it was bound to happen. So that's what we're facing now. So we have 24 minutes roughly to stream, and you're thinking, Stephen, why 24 minutes? Why so specific? Because that's how much time is left on the dryer for the laundry. So yeah, everyone knows late night laundry is the worst, and that's what we're dealing with right now, in addition to a previously busy day today. So, but the year of streaming and learning to code, we can't miss a day, and so far we haven't. So we're on track. With all that said out of the way, we are going to be diving into Ruby. Let's take a look at what Ruby has to offer. Catalog. And then we will hit the ground running. I wonder what that Python is. Oh, that's what the little maintenance hat is. It's for maintenance, or the construction hat. Hey there, currently having a service outage. Some of our content is unavailable for this course. We're working hard to get this fixed, and appreciate your patience. Very cool, very cool. Oh no! Ruby's under maintenance too. Well, what does that mean? Fascinating. Well, let's take a look. What does that mean? When we click on it, under construction, hey there, currently having a service outage, and some of our content is unavailable. Well, I guess we haven't really accounted for this before. We're working hard to get this fixed. Appreciate your patience. Keep up the good work. Explore all courses. Notify me when this course is available. I'm sure it's just because it's so late, or technically so early for them, considering Codecademy's East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast, but good to know. I mean, we can still get familiar with the course. I think there's only been one, possibly 2 days, but only one day comes to mind where we weren't actually coding, and it was more of getting familiar with the site, which was still coding related. We were trying to figure out what course to follow, and we went through the entire catalog and all the fun stuff at the bottom. It was in the early teens, day 13, 14, one of those. I'm drawing a blank if there was another day. What, the other day where I should have read coding related things and didn't actually spend the stream physically coding was the survey they sent out. Or no, it wasn't them. I think they forwarded the survey that Stack Overflow did. And that was a great read. That was like 2 hours, and that would have been an awesome stream. Just reflect on. But let's see, what do we do? Let's cancel. I actually don't have the chat open. There we go. Now we've got chat open. Good. Well, let's at least get familiar with Ruby for starters, and then we'll continue exploring from there. Alright. Syllabus. Now, overview. Course outcomes. In this course, you will gain familiarity in Ruby around basic programming concepts, including variables, loops, control flow, and most importantly, object-oriented programming. You'll get the chance to test your understanding in a final project which you'll build locally. Why learn Ruby? Ruby is a general purpose language that is still popular and in high demand in the marketplace, as it's more commonly used in Rails applications. Concise and readable, it's easy to pick up, but also plenty powerful. Companies like Twitter, SoundCloud, Goodreads, and Kickstarter got their products off the ground with Ruby. Let's look at the syllabus. We got, wow, 11 sections. Again, this is our last large course. Comes in at just around 9 hours. So you can already tell section 11 is the paid for project. And there is stuff that we can do, part of the free course in 10, but let's at least a brief overview for Ruby and get familiar with what's ahead. Introduction to Ruby, interactive lesson, putting the form in formatter. That's in section 1. Section 2, control flow in Ruby. Control flow in Ruby. This meaneth war. It's a lot of Lisp going on there. And you know what we might be able to do is probably do. We really haven't looked at the external resources. I think these are the documents they link to when they reference the Codecademy documents in the instructions. As we're going through the activities, at least some of them. I know a lot of them take us outside of Codecademy to places like GitHub and other websites. But there are a handful of documents that they reference. I guess we could read that in the meantime. That would be semi-productive, hopefully. Control flow. Section 2, control flow in Ruby. This mean for good. Section 3 will be looping with Ruby. Loops and iterators. Redacted. That feels rightish. For arrays and hashes, data structures, and create a histogram. That sounds like it could be fun. 5, blocks and sorting. Methods, blocks, and sorting. Ordering your library. Good. Actually, we'll leave 5 open. Section 6 is hashes, yet again in symbols. So hashes and symbols, and also hashes and symbols for its first portion. And then a night at the movies. Cool. Section 7 will be refactoring. The Zen of Ruby. The refactor factory. That also seems intriguing. 8 will be blocks, procs, and lambdas. Blocks, procs, and lambdas. Okay, and then 9 will be object-oriented programming part 1, consisting of object-oriented programming part 1, as well as virtual computer. And then the last section that we have available to us, part of the free portion of Codecademy, will be section 10, object-oriented programming part 2, and banking on Ruby. Let's go ahead, stack those back down. 2 and 3. Hey, Topher, how are you doing? Up late, I see as well. Blocks, all that's closing. Introduction. So I wonder, so as a side note, it's currently under construction. We finally run into a roadblock of sorts. It only took 111 days, but it does make sense that they have to do maintenance. But yeah, so we're trying to maybe, I don't know what happens. Maybe it's only part of it, because if we look at Codecademy again, it's only certain courses. So maybe it's only certain portions of the courses, like Python. The only 2 that are under maintenance right now is Python's under construction and Ruby's under construction. You know what? We're going to go for it. We're going to try opening this. We'll come back to it. Probably nothing's going to happen. Oh my god, they let us in even when it's under maintenance. We're not trapped. That's incredible. Okay, we're going to run with it. We're going to pretend nobody's looking at us. Nobody's looking at us. What if it doesn't save our progress? Also, there's no next button at the bottom, and there's a couple other issues. It also seems super buggy and slow. That's okay. We can still, if we pass the first one, we don't actually need the next button at the bottom. We can just click on section 2 here in the sidebar. So we'll make it work. I don't know if it's going to remember, but that's okay. I mean, after all, we only have 13 minutes and 57 seconds left. Yeah, very short stream. Topher, just got home from the hospital. My vulva thing hanging in the back of your throat. Oh yeah, that guy was swollen and I couldn't breathe. Thought I was gonna die today. Seriously. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're doing better and that you didn't, because that would not be good. That is bad. So other than that, you're great. Awesome. Good. That's the attitude. Way to go. How are you? I'm good. I was concerned that obviously now my concerns seem a lot, they shadow in comparison to what you were going through. Although, is the construction icon gone now? Point being, the maintenance icon next to Python was also showing up for Ruby. Yeah, see, there. I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to do day 111, at least coding, but I know there's been 1 or 2 days where I haven't actually made progress coding. Again, I think it was day 13 or 14 where I got intimately familiar with the rest of the site, trying to figure out how to proceed. Oh no, PHP is under maintenance. I hope they don't get rid of it now. That would be very bad. We've made it so far. Oh no. Death. Over. Me too. Dying is counterproductive. That's good. That's good. I got shit to do. That is, yeah, you do. You got work and little ones and life. Let's set dying on the back burner as far as things to get to soon. But yeah, so on a less ominous note, I was faced with a roadblock and I didn't think I'd be able to open up Ruby. I noticed some things missing, like the next button down here at the bottom. But again, if we read through and make a little bit of progress, we'll be introduced to Ruby. But yeah, so let's get a feel for what Ruby is, because now we've got. Oh, it's extremely late. Another short stream for tonight. Late night laundry and an early day tomorrow means not a lot of time to stream tonight. So that's that. We're gonna read and get as familiar with we can as best as possible. So from the top, Ruby. Introduction to Ruby. Overview and sneak peek. This is perfect. All we need is a sneak peek right now for our remaining 11 minutes. Ruby is a powerful, flexible programming language you can use in web/internet development to process text, to create games, and as part of the popular Ruby on Rails web framework. Ruby is. Let me jump back. Good. You could skip to something else that isn't under construction. That means changing course. And we'll only change course when we die. I'm a creature of habit, Topher. We know this after 110 previous days leading up to this. That is where the path leads, and unless the path disappears. It never dawned on me that out of 111 days, I always figured I'd be the fail point if something were to go wrong. No, turns out Codecademy is the break point before all break, which is good. That's promising. That means the site will fail before I will. It's kind of good, because I feel like that kind of dedication and commitment is needed to make it through this year of streaming and learning together. Trying to make progress every day, right? Hopefully. So yeah, good. Back to Ruby. Crazy person's choice, right? Alright, onwards. So Ruby is at times, Ruby on Rails web framework. Ruby is what? Ruby is high level, meaning reading and writing Ruby is really easy. Looks a lot like regular English. Interpreted, meaning you don't need a compiler to write and run Ruby. You can write it here at Codecademy or even on your own computer. Many are shipped with the Ruby interpreter built in. We'll get to the interpreter later in this lesson. Object-oriented, meaning it allows users to manipulate data structures called objects in order to build and execute programs. We'll learn more about objects later, but for now, all you need to know is everything in Ruby is an object. Easy to use. Ruby was designed by, I hope I don't do his name. What is it? Act of Justice? Oh, what's the phrase? That's okay. It's late. I'm crazy. And he's got a nickname. Ruby was designed by Yukihiro Matsumoto. Yukihiro Matsumoto, often just called Mats. Perfect. Designed by Mats in 1995. That's cool. Mats set out to design a language that emphasized human needs over those of the computer, which is why Ruby is so easy to pick up. This course assumes no previous knowledge of Ruby in particular or programming/computer science in general. It's like this was made for us. This is perfect. Ready to learn Ruby? Click Submit button to continue. At this rate, you're on track to finish all the courses before the full year is up. Oh yeah, for sure. Also, it's like, I think the courses are getting like, not quite, but exponentially. If we were to draw it out on a chart or scale, a graph, I believe they're getting shorter towards the end of this. Because JavaScript was... No, Python was 13 hours, JavaScript was 10 hours, Ruby's 9, and we've made our way through the large... This is the last large course. Anything close to 10 hours. Everything else is like 5 or less. A lot of 2s and 3s in the future. So, yeah, that's that. Alright, good times. So let's hit save and submit code. See what happens. Oh, that's right, we're in the new section, not one of the old modules. So the next button is here. No, we're in the old module. I can't tell. I give up. Can't figure out which is their old environment and which is their new. I believe this is their old environment. The next button only comes up after we hit save and submit code. Alright, 2. Data types, numbers, strings, and booleans. In Ruby, your information or data can come in different types. There are 3 data types in Ruby that we're interested in right now. Numbers, booleans, which can be true or false, and strings. Words or phrases like I'm learning Ruby. Wow, they aren't kidding, and especially with Ruby being focused on the human side, and the fact that they aren't factoring in any programming knowledge whatsoever, I get an overwhelming suspicion that this is going to feel extremely repetitive across all the general things, like sort of general syntax that we've picked up and other general rules. Sort of an amalgamation of all the previous languages, the 14 other courses that we've completed so far over the last 111 days. I mean, that's good, but kind of. This is gonna just feel super repetitive, which isn't terrible. If you have that nauseating feeling, that means you're learning it, which is good. I've got that essence of nausea right now. So that's got to be a good sign. But yeah, so continuing on, learning Ruby. Computer programs exist to quickly analyze and manipulate data. For that reason, it's important for us to understand the different data types that we can use in our programs. Reminder, never use quotation marks. What? Oh, quotation marks for booleans. Single or double with booleans. Or Ruby will think you're talking about a string, a word or phrase, instead of a value that can be true or false. It's also important to remember that Ruby is case sensitive. It cares about capitalization. Good. You are correct. The syntax is different, but the concepts are the same. Awesome. Good. At least my hunch is correct. Instructions. Set the following variables, the corresponding values. My number to the value 25, my boolean to the value true, my string to the value Ruby. Note the capitalization. Get a hint, add your code here. Alright, number. Oh god, equal sign 25. Is it wrong that I want to drop in a semicolon? I feel like I should, but maybe that's from the 14 previous lessons. I probably should, but considering this is 2 out of 16 and the very first steps of a course that is beginning from a 0 computer programming knowledge square, they probably aren't anticipating people putting in the semicolon. Great, now I'm even more over analyzing what they want me to do here, as if I didn't overthink all their instructions already. Well, at least this is consistent with the other 110 previous days before this. So, boolean true. And my string. I'm going to try it without semicolons since they don't reference it. I'd probably be fine if I did do semicolons. Ruby. And save and submit. And they let us pass. Cool. Lesson. Variables. 3 of 5. And oh, wow, we still have 2 minutes on the timer. This has been like the slowest 10 minutes ever, which could be bad for viewers, but that's alright. Good for us. Continuing on, minute and 50-ish seconds. We'll continue. Variables. One of the most basic concepts in computer programming is the variable. You can think of variables as a word or name that grasps a single value. For example, let's say you needed the number 25 from our last example, but you're not going to use it right away. You can set a variable, say mynum, to grasp the value 25 and hang on to it for later use like this. mynum equals 25. Declaring variables in Ruby is easy. You just write out a name like mynum, use equals to assign it to a value, and you're done. If you need to change a variable, no sweat. Just type it again and hit equals to assign it to a new value. Set the variable mynum equal to 100 and click run. Next, lesson 4. Math. Ruby isn't limited to simple expressions of assignment like mynum equals 100. It can also do all the math you learned about in school. There's 6 arithmetic operators we're going to focus on: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation. Whew. Difficult. We are now past midnight. Alright. Exponentiation and modulo. The only ones that properly looks weird to you are exponentiation and modulo. Exponentiation raises one number, the base, the power of the other, the exponent. For example, 2 to the power of 3 is 8, since 2 to the power of 3 means give me 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 multiplied together 3 times. 3 times 2 is 9. 3 times 3 and so on. Okay, good. Modulo returns the same. Oh, alarm is going off. We're going to finish out to section 5 because we can. Because that's what we believe in. Modulo returns the remainder of division. For example, 25 modulo 7 would be 4. Since 7 goes into 25 3 times with 4 left over. Do a little math practice in the editor. When you're ready, click Save and Submit. Okay, not to just total. Well, you know what? We'll do modulo. We like our friend modulo. 27 modulo. What would be difficult? Do 4. That should be good. Do. Boom. 3. Cool. Right. Puts and print. The print command just takes whatever you give it and prints it to the screen. Puts, or put string, is slightly different. It adds a new blank line after the thing you want to print. You want it to print. Use them like this. Puts, what's up, print, Oxnard, Montalvo. No parentheses or semicolons needed. Oh my god, we are in a brave new world, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a semicolonless universe, at least for right now. Instructions. In the editor, use at least one print statement and at least one put statement. You can print out any strings you like. Make sure you put your strings between quotes like this, hello. So quotes for strings, obviously, but no semicolon. Hell, they don't even have equal signs, or it's not even parentheses or anything. They just cram it on in there, right next to puts or prints. In fact, I'm just gonna steal theirs. I mean, if Ruby's gonna be this easy, let's just fully commit to it. Just roll over and do nothing, right? All right. Save and submit code. What's up? Oxnard Montalvonial. That's weird. Where'd the IL come from? Anyone else notice that? Because we copied from here. It's exactly the same. VO Montalvo, but it's got NIL. Range. We will click next strings methods. That brings us to the next block. We finished the first bit. The timer has passed. It was a very short stream. It was odd. Had I known we could have dove into Ruby from the get-go, even with the maintenance sign, we would have just hit the ground running. But they tried to trick us. But we saw past due to our curiosity. Alright, well, with that said, we probably don't have very different statistics than where we ended yesterday, or even from where we started, but let's go ahead, back out, and see stat-wise where we conclude day 111. Good. Still at 0%. Maybe if we click directly within 31% of the way through. That's better. Okay, we're 31% of the way through the intro to Ruby. That's not as bad. Topher, alright man, good night. Glad I lived to catch the stream today. I am too, and I hope you keep living, regardless of the stream. That would be super-de-duper awesome. I'm sure many of people would appreciate that. But yes, good time. So, 31%, currently 1,264 points with badges. Do we have any? 178 badges. Good times. Let's go ahead and back out, power down. Topher, thank you again. Good night. I'm glad you're live. Definitely. And to anyone else who may have stopped by the stream, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Alright, we are stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.